Hey, welcome back everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a really cool video in store. But before I get started, I do want to make something very clear, and that is this video is going to have tons of caveats that go along with it. There are going to be different situations that affect each person, so if you're watching this video, just take that into consideration. I know there's going to be people that are probably going to make comments that I missed something, and there will probably, be things that I maybe miss or certain situations that each person has that's different than another person. But overall, my whole point of this video is to motivate you, is to show you just how close you may already be, or, to show you how close you can eventually get to grasping these long-term goals. And of course, this goal being maybe you want that supercar eventually, maybe you want that exotic in your garage, and maybe, just maybe, it's not as unattainable as you originally thought. So I thought I'd make this cool video and talk about some of the costs of affording a Lamborghini, or actually in essence, any type of expensive car, anything around about $100,000. So how can you afford a $100,000 car? Now, when we take a $100,000 car, it spans tons of different genres of vehicles. I'm going to use the Lamborghini kind of as my example. Now, you could be looking for a nice Grand Tour, maybe a Aston Martin or something along that lines, but I kind of want to, I want to entice people. A lot of you that are watching this video maybe had a Lamborghini Gallardo or even a old Murcielago up on their walls as a kid. So to attain this maybe long-term goal that you had, growing up thinking, I'm gonna have one of those one day, this is how, to show you guys, especially in numbers terms, how you can get there. I can't show you how to make the money to get there. Each person, you're gonna be different in that aspect, but I can show you, monetary-wise, what it's going to cost you to get, say, a Lamborghini Gallardo. And I'm actually going to show you guys, there's an example here of an Audi dealership that has one for sale. And it's just a smidge under $100,000. And the first thing I want to say is buy a Lamborghini if you are, or any type of high-end sports car, from a reputable dealer. Now, if you go and look, you can find Lamborghinis all over the place for, I believe, under $80,000. But a lot of times there's either high mileage, which is something you kind of want to look out for, and it's going to be some, third-party crazy dealer that probably a lot of times does not have the best reviews. So I would highly recommend buying from a high-quality dealer, especially maybe even a Lamborghini dealer. Not saying that there won't be problems buying from a Lamborghini dealer. There definitely have been, and there will continue to be, but it is a little bit more reputable, and with them being a full-scale organization, they are going to take things a little bit more seriously, and they've been doing it for a long time. So I would make sure that you buy from a reputable dealer. Now, do not go out and buy a Lamborghini or any type of high-end sports car that needs work, even if you're going to save some money in the short term. Unless you're Tavares, do not go and do that. Watching his videos are so much fun, but he is a smart guy. He has a lot of experience under his belt. He figures out a lot of things. I would not recommend it. Not saying you can't do it. I do not want to tell you you can't do it, but I would not recommend it, especially if this is kind of your first sports car. Have a fun experience with it. Go and buy something that is not going to be sitting, dead in your garage a whole lot of time. Find something that is running in good order. And so go ahead and look for something like that. So this example that I found at Audi, it's a beautiful 2007 Gallardo, and it's actually a Spider. It's not even one of the first years, the 2004 or 2005. It's all the way to a 2007, so there were some changes made to the engine by that point. So it definitely is a good example of what you could find at the sub 100,000. Now we're just barely under it, but it's still within grasp of that 100,000 mark. Now at this point, there's always a little bit of wiggle room to add into the pricing. I would say that you might be able to knock off 5%, maybe 10%. I've never purchased a supercar, but from reading forums, from talking to people, there's always a little bit of wiggle room. They're willing to work with you. It's not like you have to walk in there and say, I will buy it for full retail of what you have on the sticker. They may not work with you at first, but eventually there is a little bit of wiggle room. There may not be a 20% markup that you're going to get taken out of it. There may be that markup, but you're probably not going to get that type of a deal unless you stumble across just an incredible, deal. But let's take, 5% as an example. But then you got to add in taxes and fees and other types of costs. You cannot forget those types of costs. So I always kind of say, if you're going to take the purchase price and then you're going to take out, maybe the pricing that you get differently. So let's say 5%. You're going to have to re-add in maybe 5% for sales tax and fees and registration. So don't forget, it may even be more than that. Our sales tax here is 7.225%. So we're actually over that 5%. So I always say shoot for taking off what you have back in fees, and maybe that sticker price that you see is actually your out the door pricing. So don't forget some of those other costs. So, and the next thing I want to talk about is cost, is insurance. Do not forget, insurance on a vehicle like that is definitely going to be a lot more expensive. This is another caveat that I cannot express enough. Everybody is going to be different. Rates are going to be all over the place. You're going to have people that have had claims, that have had tickets. Then you're going to have people with perfect driving records. Their rates are going to be here and here. They're going to be way different. I'm thinking if you have a fairly clean driving record, you might be able to get insured for about $150 a month. I read on the forums that there were people that were attaining that in their mid to late 20s, especially after 25 years old. That's when rates start going down. And a lot of them had clean driving records, and they were looking at about $150, maybe $200 a month for insurance, which is a lot more than your average car. But again, it costs a lot more, and to repair is a whole lot more if there is an accident. So they take that into consideration. What else? Maintaining the vehicle is going to be more expensive. It's just one of those things that comes with the vehicle. So make sure you're appropriating funds for those extra costs. So wheels, tires, brakes, whatever you guys are going to upgrade or have to maintain is going to be that much more expensive. I would say you need to have maybe a $5,000 fund put to the side for at least any type of maintenance breakdowns from the get-go, and then continue to add to that. You may even build up a nice little $10,000 slush fund on the side just for the vehicle, and that would put you in a great position that if something major happened to the vehicle, you're not like, I can't come up with the money right now and it's sitting, doing nothing, or you're having to find a quick loan or something for it. So I wouldn't put your guys' self in that situation if you don't have to. I would at least have some sort of buffer fund on the side. Now let's get to the actual cost of the vehicle, and that's going to be your monthly payments. So we took $100,000 as a nice rounded number that's going to get you definitely into some sort of Lamborghini. You could even maybe look at some Ferraris. Just a nice number that's going to get you into a really nice exotic car. So $100,000. The first thing I'm going to say is you're going to have to put something down, and I would estimate 25%. If you put 25% down, you're going to probably be able to find a lender that's going to lend you so you can get your loan. And at 25%, you're going to have enough equity or skin in the game that they're going to be willing to give you a loan. Now, again, another caveat, it's going to depend on how good your credit score is, what your income has been for the last couple of years. There's going to be a couple factors that play into just what it costs you to get into that vehicle. But let's just take a kind of overall average. If you put $25,000 down, so your loan left on the vehicle is $75,000. 60 months, let's just take a 60-month loan, and then you take maybe 4.5%. One nice thing is interest rates are still pretty low. We are seeing rising interest rates, but they're still lower than, you're not going to have to pay 8, 9, 10% for a loan on a car unless you have terrible credit. If you have terrible credit, I would take that as a hint that maybe this isn't the time, or eventually you just need to save up for cash or wait till you have better credit. But if you have pretty good credit, 4.5% isn't all that wild. Now, 60 months at 4.5% on a $75,000 loan is going to be roughly $1,350. It's actually not all that bad. You add in insurance, you add in maybe a buffer every month of a couple $100s for maintaining it. Roughly $1,800 should get you as your kind of overall monthly expenses into the vehicle. Again, there may be some other small added expenses, but even if we round up to about $2,000, for under $2,000, you can probably get into a Lamborghini. And this Gallardo is a perfect example of what is possible. It's a beautiful vehicle, and I honestly would love it. And I looked at doing something like that. Now, for my situation, I like paying cash for cars. So I wanted to kind of explain to you that in my essence, I looked at a Z06 and I was gonna have to put 25 down, and I was gonna find something for about 80 grand, and I was gonna have a payment of about $1,000 a month if that's what I wanted to do. I decided that I really wanted to pay cash for my car, and that's just kind of my, philosophy. I wanted to pay cash at this point, especially for my first sports car. There's nothing wrong. There's kind of a stigma of having debt, and I'm not saying that if you have tons of credit card debt and you have a huge mortgage on your home that you should just be adding to your debt. You should not. I work in the finance field, and I would not recommend doing this if you already have high levels amount of debt. But if this is something that you are working towards and you don't spend tons of money, maybe you're not going to clubs, you're not buying 2, 3, 4, 5 pairs of extra shoes a month, you're not eating out every day of the week, this is something that may be very attainable of you, and it might be something that you find a whole lot more enjoyment out of than doing those other things that I listed. And like I said, each person's situation is going to be different. But I wanted to show you just what it's possible in today's market, what is possible with depreciation. And again, that's another point, is the depreciation on a Gallardo. If you buy something around 100 grand, yes, it's going to continue to depreciate. But if you don't throw parties in the Gallardo and you don't put on 20,000 miles a year, you may want to daily it, but I would recommend not putting crazy amounts of mileage on it. You're not going to depreciate half. You're not going to be able to sell the vehicle for only $50,000 in a few years. There may be some depreciation, but it's not going to be, this huge upfront depreciation all of a sudden. So you don't have to worry about that. That's another nice thing buying a used vehicle. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to kind of make this fun video and show you guys what is possible. And I want to motivate you guys. It doesn't have to be a Lamborghini. It can be a sports car. It could be a C6 like this. Maybe you don't make enough money to afford that, but maybe you can put $10,000 down on something like this and have a $15,000 loan, and you might only be paying a couple $100 a month. And that's what is attainable for you. But I want to motivate you. If this is what you want, if you want a sports car and you want to enjoy something that you did not think was attainable, beforehand, get motivated. Find a way to work a few extra hours in your shift. Find a way to get that promotion. You can do it. Anything is possible. And I honestly, I truly believe that. Anything is possible. I'm finding on this YouTube that truly anything is possible just through even YouTube. All these other aspects of my life, it holds true as well. It's what you put in it that you get back out. So the harder you work, the more you're going to get back out. And it takes time. I call it the buffer time, that you start working and hard and you don't get any fruits of your labor. A lot of people quit before they start seeing their fruits of their labor kind of roll back in. But once it starts, it gets exciting, and sometimes you ramp up your excitement and you even work harder, and then it just snowballs. It's the snowball effect as well. Things just start working, in tandem even better. So I don't want to get too off topic, but really this is just an overall, what is the cost to own something like a Lamborghini Gallardo, and what is, the ability to afford that, and just to overall motivate you guys. Anything, seriously, is possible. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a little bit scattered, but I wanted to give you guys an idea of what was possible, just because I was running some numbers and I really was shocked at what is possible. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. You guys are so much fun and so great, and I appreciate all the support. If you guys like this video, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, and you all have a great day and take care. See you tomorrow.